This is Love Your Work, and I'm David Cademy. I'm here to help you cut out the noise to focus. You may have heard me talk a little about minimalism with some of my guests. I talked about it with Craig Benzine on episode 39 and with James Altucher on episode 53. I'm not an extreme minimalist. I don't count the number of things that I own, trying to keep the number down. I consider myself to be a practical minimalist. I have just enough things to improve my focus, but I don't have so many things that it hurts my focus. I recently went minimalist when I sold most of my things and moved to Colombia. In this episode, I'll share just how being a practical minimalist helps me focus. This post originally appeared on Medium. You can find it and follow me at cademy.net/medium. When you're billing your clients, the last thing you want to waste your time and mental energy on is creating invoices. FreshBooks customers get paid an average of 5 days faster. Get your free 30-day trial at cademy.net/freshbooks. How practical minimalism helps me focus. A few months ago, I sold nearly everything and moved to Colombia. I wasn't trying to be a minimalist. I didn't aspire to own fewer than 15 things, but I had cut it down to 3 suitcases to make the move. What I've discovered is having less stuff and having less access to stuff is actually cognitively freeing. My creative output has grown exponentially. The most freeing part of my move to practical minimalism is living in a furnished apartment. When you furnish your own apartment, the objects around you matter. Somehow, the knowledge that you are responsible for that object, that one day you have to get that giant couch through that tiny door to move out of your place, places a cognitive burden on your brain. When you don't furnish your own apartment, none of the stuff around you matters. Your mind is free to think about other things, the same way Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck every day. Some people probably find that idea depressing. Living in an apartment with furniture that doesn't matter to you. I get it. I used to feel the same way. But as I was selling my final pieces of IKEA furniture on Craigslist, all of them for half the price of what I had paid for them, I noticed something. First, why was this stuff worth half what I paid for it? I brought it into the city, the IKEA store was in the suburbs, and I assembled it. It should be worth more. Second, if IKEA stuff is so popular, if we all have pretty much the same furniture, why do we bother with owning it and moving it at all? A prediction, as an aside. Sometime soonish, there will be widespread adoption of something between renting an Airbnb and owning furniture. Maybe it's a service where you rent furniture. An AI-assisted interior decorator gives you a proposal, and the furniture is delivered and arranged. You pay a monthly fee. The other piece of practical minimalism that has benefited me has been a general lack of access to stuff. There's no Amazon Prime in Colombia, and many products that are easy to get in the US are hard to find. If you want something obscure, you can order it on Amazon to Miami. Then some guy imports it for you. It takes 2 weeks and shipping and taxes cost you about 30% extra. Or you have to go on a scavenger hunt. You call places, then you struggle to understand their Spanish, then they get frustrated and they hang up on you. Then you just get in a cab and go to the store, and then you confirm that they in fact don't have it. This probably sounds frustrating, but it's actually great. You have to plan and batch your Amazon orders, or you have to leave your house. The result is you make many fewer impulse buys. You often just decide you can live without a larger vegetable spiraler, at least until your next trip to the US. There's a certain point where minimalism is detrimental. If you have too few things, you end up spending more mental energy chasing down a screwdriver than you save by not owning one. But if you let your possessions pile up, they will begin to cloud your thinking. The goal is to find the sweet spot. If you can live in nothing but Airbnbs, as James Altucher mentioned on my podcast, that's one way to help. Another way would be to cancel your Amazon Prime account so you batch your orders more. Or next time your brain tells you you need something, just tell it to shut up. Love Your Work is supported in part by Treehouse. Take your career to the next level and learn from over 1,000 videos created by expert teachers on web design, coding, business, and much more. Claim your free 14-day free trial at cadavy.net/treehouse. You'll be supporting the show. I hope you found that enlightening and that it gives you some practical thoughts on keeping life simple and focusing better. For more detail on how I think about focusing to be more productive, check out episode number 37. That's an episode where my friend Al Mogg from the Unstagnate podcast interviews me. It's all about harnessing the power of your productivity cycles. And if you appreciate all the work that goes into making this show, there are a couple of ways you can help support it. One is to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Just hit the subscribe button. Another is to rate the show on iTunes. Just go to cadavy.net/iTunes and click on write a review and click on the star rating. You don't even have to write a review. It just takes a couple of seconds. And do you like books? If you do, I'd love to send you my book recommendations. About 90% of them will be nonfiction on subjects spanning from biographies to neuroscience. Just go to cadavy.net/reading, sign up, and you'll get my first set of recommendations right away. You'll be supporting the show if you buy any of those books through the links in the email. This has been Love Your Work, and I'm David Cadavy. The theme music for this show is More Streets, performed by Spiderflower. Love Your Work is a production of Cadavy Inc.